Hi everyone. Welcome to our second member meeting this year for Media Club. I'm Michelle, your vice president for this year, and I hope that everybody's been doing well for the past 2 weeks. And welcome to all the new members that we've gotten. I'm so glad that everything is falling into place now, despite our rocky start. And I'm also really glad that so many of you were able to make it today. And I hope everyone here has a fun and interesting time today for our meeting and that everyone here learns something new. So for our agenda today, we're going to be discussing some recent news, Inktober shoutouts, upcoming Halloween events, what makes a good logo design, and examples of bad logo designs. After that, we'll be hosting a game of Kahoot to review on the things you learned, and it also doubles as a fun and easy opportunity to earn some points, so make sure to pay attention. We're going to be ending our meeting by announcing our logo design contest, updating everyone on our member recruitment progress, and opening up the panel to any questions you may have. At the end, make sure to fill out the attendance forms on our link trace so that we know that you came.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Angelica and I'm the club historian. So last meeting, you all met each of us and I'll give you a recap of that on the next slide. We also talked about how the point system is going to function and also Inktober, which Kendra will talk about. This is our executive board. So going from the picture where we all have like the heart on, so the first person is Kelly. Then we have Kelly, our events coordinator, Jonathan, the president, Michelle, our VP, Ellen, our creative coordinator, Mr. Schwartz, our advisor. We have Kendra, who's our secretary, Jason, our web coordinator, me, the historian, Brian, our senior rep, Kelly, our other web coordinator, and then Lush, who's our treasurer.
So our point system is a conversion rate of 1,000 points per credit, so 8,000 points would equal to 8 credits. Club credits are important as they are required to graduate with a Brooklyn Tech diploma. Our point spreadsheet will also be open to the public on our website soon. We also currently have an you can earn 10 points for each submission and get an additional 100 points if your submission is showcased on our Instagram for Showcase Sundays. You can look at our prompts for.
I think she's cutting out a bit. All right, so Showcase Sunday is where we showcase like the best work from each week from our members to our Instagram, BTHS.media. So if you get showcased on our Instagram, you will get 100 extra points.
So these are 3 examples of the submissions that we got from you guys so far. So Vivian, Simon, and Stanley did a great job. We love your submissions for the rat and blade prompts. These are 3 examples of submissions from Isabel, Dasha, and Angela. They were really great work that effort was put into, so those that are showcased will get 100 points. We loved your submissions for the hefty radio and bulky prompts.
Okay, so now we will move on to some upcoming Halloween events other than Inktober. And all submissions that we will be talking about are due October 30th. Yes, okay. So one upcoming event that we have is a pumpkin carving / design event. So to participate in this event, you should buy or create a pumpkin and either carve or paint it. And all work must be 3D. We're giving 100 points for this, which is 10 times the points of an Inktober submission. All you have to do when you're done is to snap a photo and submit it in our Google Forms by October 30th. Next slide, and here are some examples of what we will be looking for. So to the left is the pumpkin carving, and to the right is the painting on the pumpkin. Okay, so another event that we have is a spooky image event. So basically you create a Halloween themed image using any medium you are most comfortable with. And this includes photography, different art styles like traditional drawings and digital works, and more. We are giving 50 points per submission, which is 5 times the points of an Inktober submission and 100 points to the best pieces. The next few slides will be examples of different mediums of what we will be looking for. So the first one is traditional art. Here's some examples of traditional art. Here's some examples of digital works.
Digital illustrations.
Yo, stop. Digital illustration and graphic design. And here's some examples of photography and video editing.
I think that's a typo. It's supposed to be photography and photo editing, so not video editing. This is all image-based project, but our next one will be video editing.
Okay, our next event is for film and animation. You can either create your own Halloween-themed short film or trailer and create a Halloween-themed animation. The requirements are that it has to be between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. We're giving 100 points, which is 10 times the points of an Inktober submission, so please put effort into it. You can also earn 100 more points if we showcase your work. And here are some examples of film and animation. So on the left, we have, film, and on the right, we have animation.
Yes, so for this, you will be submitting a video. These are just like screenshots of these videos, still shots.
Hey guys, so next we're going to be hosting a logo design contest for the club. So what we want you guys to do is create a logo for the club. It's pretty self-explanatory. We just want it so that we can use it for marketing materials, probably on the Instagram. And that also is due October 30th. So now we'll go over what makes a good logo so that you guys can have some prior knowledge that you guys can really succeed in this contest. So the first thing that you're going to need to create a good logo is you're going to want to make it relevant with the theme of whatever the logo is for. So a good example of this would be the Girl Scouts logo. If you guys are familiar with that, it features the faces of two girls. So when you look at it, you quickly see, Girl Scouts on there. So it's a Girl Scouts logo. The next would be to keep the design simple and memorable. You don't want it to be too complex, because if it's too complex, people aren't really going to want to look at it. They're not going to understand what it is. And then in a couple hours from now, a couple days, weeks, months, they're not going to remember what it was. So something simple would be like the Nike swoosh. Everyone knows what that looks like. And every time we see it, we say, oh, that's Nike instantly. Next, you're going to want to make sure that you use colors strategically. Colors have meaning and they have to be used appropriately. Otherwise, they're going to look odd and no one's going to want to look at your logo. So another good example of that would be the McDonald's logo, the golden arches, because obviously the yellow catches your attention. Once again, it's memorable. That's why it's a good logo. You're going to want to make it scalable and versatile so that it can be used anywhere and everywhere. Logos are used on buildings, on business cards, on t-shirts, websites. The list could go on and on. So it has to be able to be used big, small, far away, close, on all different mediums. An example I like to use for that would be Target. It's just two circles, so it can be super big, super small, doesn't lose any detail, and everyone obviously always recognizes it. Next, you're going to want to make sure it looks great in black and white. This is simply because just in a lot of cases, you can't get it in color. And also, going back to simplicity, if it's in black and white, it's one of the simplest forms. It doesn't need a whole bunch of coloring to look great. One example I would like to use of that would be the 3 stripes of the Adidas logo. A lot of their shoes feature that in 3 stripes. And every time you look at it, that's an Adidas shoe because it has those black stripes on it. Next, you're going to want to make it a memorable design. An example I would use of that would be the Apple design, because everybody knows what the Apple design looks like. We all remember it. If I told you what an apple looks like, even if I'm asking you about the food, you'd probably think of the phone. So that's all I got here.
So our first logo design principle is to make your logo relevant to the brand's theme or target audience. With a good logo, you should be able to know the approximate audience that you're targeting for or going for just by looking at it. For example, if you make a kids brand, you might want to use bubbly letters. If you're making a logo for a modern tech company, you might want to use very flat, minimalistic designs. Like with the YouTube logo, without even knowing what the brand is about, you can probably tell that it's about something about video playing or video streaming.
When you make a logo, it's really important to remember who you're targeting for the audience. Again, with the Toys R Us logo, the target audience is children. So you have to make sure it grabs their attention and it's bright and colorful. That's why they use so many colors, bright colors, and the bubbly letters. A lot of the most famous logos are super simple. The design doesn't need to be complicated for it to be good. It's easier to remember the simpler shapes and associate them with brands.
Yes, so the very best logos of the largest brands are always, super simple. Usually they're only like 1 or 2 colors, 4 colors maximum, with simple but very distinct shapes. All these shapes convey a very strong message, even though it's simple. To test if your logo is simple enough, you should be able to show it to a friend, and afterwards, your friend should be able to memorize and draw the complete logo without looking at it. With the 3 examples above, Nike, Apple, McDonald's, you can probably close your eyes and you'll still be able to draw it. A bad logo example that's way too complex that you all know would probably be the Brooklyn Tech logo. With the Brooklyn Tech logo, most of you probably won't be able to draw that whole logo without looking at it because it's not simple enough. So yes, the Brooklyn Tech logo is considered a bad logo because it was made 100 years ago where, these logo design principles weren't made. So our next principle of logo design is the use of colors. Colors are very important in logo design. Each color of the spectrum represents a different idea, a different mood, and a different message. In the picture shown, there are 7 basic colors, including black, white, and grays. So Ellen's gonna talk about each color and what they stand for.
All right, so the different colors have different meanings and moods. So it's really important to choose which specific colors that you're going to use for your design. Red's a color that's used to show passion, love, and anger. Many brands use it to show energy and excitement. Orange is used to show friendliness and enthusiasm, and a lot of companies that deal with customer service use the orange color. Yellow is associated with happiness and positivity. And green is used a lot to show peace because it's associated with nature and tranquility. Blue is a calm color, so it often symbolizes strength, stability, and calmness. Purple represents creativity as well as ambition, which is why purple is our main color, along with yellow, to show that we are a creative community that wants to uplift all the artists at Tech. It's also important to think about which colors you want to use together, because depending on which colors you use as combinations, the meaning can differ a little. So for example, the McDonald's logo. Yes, red means energy and love and all that stuff, and yellow means happiness, but together, when you look at red and yellow, they can invoke feelings of hunger. So that was a really good design choice by McDonald's. Okay, so logos have to be flexible. They have to be recognizable in different situations and colors. For example, a lot of companies change a bit of their designs when holidays roll around, like for, say, 4th of July, where they might change their logo to have the pattern of the American flag. But even when they change their colors, you can still recognize what brand they are.
Yes. So first off, you have to make sure that your logo is scalable. Your logo should work, no matter what size it's being displayed or printed at. If your logo is simple enough, this shouldn't be an issue. Think of it like this. Your logo should be able to work as a small Instagram profile icon, and it should work on a super large billboard. Also, it's really important that you make sure your logo is in a vector format and not a rasterized format. A vector format makes it so that when your logo is being scaled, it's not being pixelated. To make sure that your logo is in a vector format, you should make your logo in Adobe Illustrator or Affinity Designer. Don't make your logo in Photoshop, GIMP, Canva, or any other photo editing apps, because these apps use a raster format instead of vector, and it'll pixelate your logo when it comes out. Secondly, you'll have to make sure that your logo is versatile. Make sure that your logo works for a variety of uses. Usually, versatile logos are only made up of one flat color. As you can see in the Hillary, Supreme, and Museum of Arts and Design logos, they look good and recognizable, even through different settings where the logo has changed. One thing to keep in mind is that the shape of your logo really matters. The shape of your logo, make sure that it's versatile and make sure that it's recognizable. Think about how your logo would be used on a variety of media, especially on the BTHS media Instagram page. So yes, going back to our principle of keeping your logo simple and the principle of making sure that it's versatile, our fifth principle of logo design is to make sure that your logo looks good even in black and white. So what you should do when you first design a logo is forget about all the colors, patterns, or gradients, and only focus your attention on the basic shapes of the logo. The shape of your logo is the most important because it sets the foundation for a good logo design. Also, it's a really good idea to sketch your ideas on paper, and then afterwards, you'll actually trace your logo sketch on an app like Adobe Illustrator or Affinity Designer. Also, when you're making your sketches will probably be in black ink anyways, so you shouldn't have an issue making sure that your logo looks good in black and white.
Making sure it's in black and white is really important in general because sometimes your logo will be printed in black and white since printing in color is more expensive. So you have to make sure it looks good even without color. The job of the logo is to represent the brand that it's being used for. That means it has to be easy to remember and be distinct. It's easy to accomplish this with simple shapes or designs. Adding too many details clutters the design and your eyes don't really know where to look. There's just too much to look at and it's difficult to remember all the details. So it isn't good for it to be too messy. It also isn't good for production because again, with the versatility rule, it has to look good in all sizes. In a small size, details can get lost and make the logo look weird. So it's best to keep things sweet and simple.
Yeah, so you must make sure that your logo is simple. Your logo has to be simple and memorable. You can accomplish this by using unique shapes that are identifiable. If you look at the logos on the slide, these are some logos that you can probably recognize. You recognize these logos because it's simple, yet it's unique in its very own way. Like I said before, to make sure that your logo is memorable, let your friend look at your logo for a few seconds, wait a minute or so, and then see if they can still draw your complete logo without looking at it. If they can't, then your logo is obviously either too complex or it's too generic. So here we have some very bad examples of logos that violate like every single principle of logo design. These logos are poorly made and they just don't follow the principles of logo design. I can't stress this enough of how it's important to follow the rules, the basics of logo design, so you don't make a bad logo. Okay, so we're gonna go through these logos and tell you why each one is bad. If you guys can type in the chat with answers, that would be great. That would be awesome. Okay, so first off, we're gonna start with number 1. So what's the issue with number 1? Yes, correct. The first logo is too complex and it's hard to read. It just hurts your eyes, Also, with the first logo, there's like too many edges and that will make it really hard to scale. And also the colors are like super ugly, So what we can do here to fix this logo is probably like keep one letter. So we'll probably keep the F and we'll keep it to a single flat color. All right, let's talk about logos 2 through 4. What's wrong with these logos? Yes, okay. So with logos 2 through 4, the issue here is that all 3 of these look super choppy and looks like something put together on MS Paint. When you make a logo, you should not be sourcing images from Google. When you make a logo, make sure that you're making it directly on, let's say, Adobe Illustrator or Affinity Designer. In all 3 of these logos, there's like very choppy clip arts, and your logo should not include any of these. Your logo should look professional and not look like something you find on Google. All right, now on to logo 5. What's wrong with logo 5? Yes, there's too many small words in logo 5. So there's too much text in this. This is not a logo. Remember that we're making a logo and not a business card. if you do include text in your logo, it should not be anything more than the name of the brand or company you're making it for. So for 5, you have to remove everything except for words, video, and you should probably keep it to a flat design. And Ellen's gonna do the rest.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about 6. It's not as bad as the other designs, but it looks really outdated and tacky, especially with the fonts. The design doesn't really tell us anything about the company. If you can read it, it says that it's for Midtown attorneys, but you can't really see anything that tells us what the company does. The logo at the top of the design is barely seeable, doesn't seem relevant to the attorney aspect of the brand. The color choice is also strange. It doesn't really put emphasis on anything. You don't really know where to look, and it's kind of hard to look at. And then for number 7, if anyone wants to guess what's wrong with number 7. Yeah, so everyone's saying it looks really generic. It's basically a template. The thing about this logo is that it's really generic. It's very boring. Yes, it's supposed to be used for a dentist office, but there's nothing defining about this logo that tells the dentist office from every other dentist office. It's simple. There's nothing distinct about this logo. And then for number 8, can people tell me what's wrong with number 8? Yeah, so you can see right in this example, we shrunk it down so you can't see any of the details that they put in this logo. That's exactly the problem with details, because if you put it too small, all the details and all your work that you put into it will be lost, and you can't really see what's going on in the logo. It would be great as like maybe a poster design, but as a logo, it wouldn't work. As for 9, it doesn't look professional. Again, it looks like they made it with MS Paint. The spacing, the spacing is strange. The text doesn't fit together well. Also, note that you should never, in design, never use old fonts like Times New Roman, Comic Sans, any of that. And then for number 10 also has the detail problem. There's way too much detail in the swirls around the globe. The globe in general is not a good design choice because there's detail in the continents and whatnot. It's also, again, you have, for logos, you have to be able to tell what the logo represents, and you can't tell what the company is for.
All right, great. So now we're gonna move on to a Kahoot.
It shouldn't be intimidating.
I love the sound whenever somebody click. So for number 1, you should start designing in black and white because it makes sure that the logo is simple and not oversaturated with colors. A good logo should be 3 colors or less.
Okay, most of you got it right.
Yeah, this is good. Okay, number 2, your logo should look good even when it's decolorized or put into black and white. Think about printability. What if you only had black and white printer? It should look good even if it's limited to just black and white printing. The Target logo here is a good example because it still looks good even if it's just black and white.
Yes, I see that most of you click words. It's not words because there's a lot of logos that use words in their logo, like the FedEx logo or the Amazon logo. So it's not words, it's color.
Okay, number 3, your logo should fit its intended audience. So if it's an environmentally friendly company, you'll probably use the color green or have these symbols. If it's a bank, you'll probably use blue to convey trust. In this example, the logo uses a lot of green and round symbols. So even if you remove the text, you could still tell it's something related to medicine or something like that. Number 4, your logo should not be generic. The logo should be something that stands out and be recognizable to a single brand. If you create a logo, it could be the logo for any other brand. It is not a good logo, At the same time, you have to keep simplicity in mind. This Domino's logo, for example, is super simple with only 2 colors and basic shapes, but it is still unique.
Great. Most of you
Nice.
guys got it right. So your logo should identify its target audience. Great.
Nice.
Okay, awesome. Most of you got it right. A logo should be simple and memorable. Remember that. Okay,
All right.
most of you guys got it wrong.
All right.
The problem
So
with this logo, you wanna go?
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Number 8. This is a bad logo because there's no contrast in the colors. So if you printed this in black and white, it would just look like a blob of gray. Also, the colors are just too plain. Too painful to look at.
Yes. So the answer wasn't too many colors, because if you look at this, there's only let's say 3 or 4 colors. That's under 4 colors, which is probably the maximum. So it can't be that. So it has to be there's no contrast. You know, when you create a logo, you have to make sure your logos are, you know, complementary and they work together. You know, this logo is just painful, you know. So the problem with this logo is that it's not scalable. Brian, you want to explain?
Okay. This is a bad logo, and like Jonathan said, it's not scalable because if you look at the details, for example, there's too many small shapes. Like in the picture frame, like you see the shoes around the legs, and the thing that he's holding, you see those little edges. If you were to like try to scale that, maybe to make it more small, you wouldn't be able to see those things at all. So that was why.
Yeah.
Also, we know why like you may choose that it doesn't communicate a message really, which is also sort of true, but this we're really focusing on the scalability.
Yes, this logo probably does communicate a message. Let's say this is like a delivery logo, you know. This guy is running with packages. There's no colors. Like we said, you should design your logo so it works as one color, so it can't be that. So this is not scalable. You see all these like edges. You know, if you printed this as like a 1 centimeter times 1 centimeter logo, it wouldn't work. You wouldn't see all these details. Brian, you want to go?
Okay. The content of the logo is irrelevant to the company/brand. This is a sushi company, but they have a sort of campfire-looking symbol as logo. A campfire has nothing to do with sushi, and also sushi isn't cooked, so a fire would not fit in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't know sushi was wrong.
Okay, nice. So this logo doesn't tell you anything about the company. You know, this could be a lawnmower company. This can be a minty toothpaste company. You know, you don't know what this is. You know, also if you print this in black and white, you wouldn't even know that it's a green logo. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The problem with this logo is that it's not representative.
So you can't really tell what this logo is for. Like is it like Jonathan?
Okay.
Oh, this is my bad. I put the wrong thing here. Can you go?
The problem with this logo is that they emphasize the wrong thing. You know, this is an anger management company, but they're emphasizing the words kids. When you look at this, you feel like it's a toy store or something like that. they should probably emphasize the fact that it's anger management by using a different font, or maybe using like darker colors, and not something that looks like the Toys R Us logo even. So it's not representative.
Oh, okay. 50-50, huh? All right, so this logo is too generic. It can literally be the logo of any health or pharmacy company and it'll still work. You want your logo to represent your brand and your brand only. Your logo should not work for another brand. Think about it like this. If you use the Target logo for Apple, it will not work. Same thing if you use the Apple logo for Target, it will not work.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yes, all four.
Awesome.
Right, that's the end. We'll continue with the presentation, and soon you'll have the attendance. All right, can someone count this down?
I'm gonna write this down.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so here are the requirements for the logo contest. You must use our color theme. On the side is our color palette with the hex numbers. You can take the time now to screenshot it. You must also think about how to represent the club accurately via the logo. This logo will probably be the first thing that people see from us as the club, so it has to represent our ideas properly. Also keep in mind the principles of logo designing that we talked about today.
So you have to make sure your logo matches the theme of our club. If you take a look at our Instagram page, BTHS.media, you'll see that our club uses a lot of purple and yellow accents. So with the logo design, you should probably use something that would fit with our theme, and it should also follow the principles of design that we discussed earlier.
For submissions, we have two options for you guys. You can either do very detailed sketches for 50 points, or you could do a complete digital version for 100 points. For the sketches, we want it to be detailed and complete. No messy sketches. You can color the logo with gouache or markers. You can sketch it digitally, but you must put effort into it. And you can show us multiple sketches. If you're doing a complete logo, we want it in vector format and not a raster format, as we talked about before. To make sure it's a vector format, you'll have to create your logo in Adobe Illustrator or Affinity Designer or any other vector design program where you can save your file as either an AI or an SVG file. Also, you may make different variants of your logo, maybe in different colors or sizes. We're also giving an extra 50 points if you make a presentation for your complete logo. You can make mock-up images of your logo, being used in things such as posters, wallpapers, merchandise, or as a letterhead, but you must put effort into this, we can tell.
A point really quick on the vector thing. For the people who are not familiar with the Adobe programs, a vector file would allow you to scale an image so that, sometimes when you would copy or like screenshot an image and try to change with it, it becomes like blurry because it's not a vector file. It's going to convert it to like 1 by 1, and that's why it's going to be pixely. So please make sure you change your design to a vector file.
You guys can get a lot of design inspiration from Adobe Behance, or you can go to Pinterest.com. Lastly, we're giving 500 points to the winning logo. The best logo will be chosen, and it will be showcased throughout the club. This is a lot of points and exposure, so make sure that you put effort into your logos. For the people who don't have Adobe Illustrator, you can use a program like Affinity Designer, or if you don't have any of those vector programs, you can do a sketch.
Thank you for joining Tech's largest club for creatives. Right now, we have 350 amazing members, but we would love to continue growing as a club. Our current goal is 500 members, and as an incentive, for each referral, you will earn 200 extra points. We'd really appreciate it if you guys could reach out to your friends who are interested in sharing their work, learning from others, and participating in new creative activities. Make sure to refer all your friends and have them write your name on the sign-up form. You will automatically receive an additional 200 points.
And before you go, please make sure to scan the QR code to fill out the attendance.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Mr. Schwartz.
Bye.